If you want to know where your life will be in 5 years, you don't have to ask a fortune teller. Just look at your habits today, because habits are mirrors. They quietly reflect your future before it arrives. Most people don't fail suddenly, they fail slowly. One small, undisciplined choice at a time. The rich don't just have money, they have rituals. They build wealth first in their minds, then in their routines, and finally in their bank accounts. You don't attract success by luck, you attract it by habit. Everyone wants to be rich, but few want to change the behavior that keeps them poor. See, the mind loves comfort, but wealth grows only in discomfort, in discipline, in learning, in doing what most people won't. The rich understand that the path to freedom is paved with habits that compound over time. The habit of saving, the habit of studying, the habit of patience. You don't need a miracle to become wealthy. You just need to turn good decisions into daily disciplines, because what you practice, you become. One of the greatest turning points in my life came when I learned that formal education can make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. See, I used to believe that school was where learning stopped. I thought once I earned my diploma, I could close the books and start chasing money. But what I discovered is that the truly wealthy never stop learning. They understand that growth doesn't end when graduation begins. Your income will rarely exceed your personal development, and the day you stop growing is the day you start declining. When I was younger, I met a man who completely changed how I thought about success. He wasn't flashy or loud, but he was wealthy, not just financially, but in wisdom, in time, in peace. I asked him what his secret was. He said, every day, I feed my mind before I feed my body. That line stayed with me. Every morning before breakfast, he'd read a few pages of a good book, listen to something educational, or study a new idea. He said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. So I started doing the same. I read 30 minutes a day. Not novels or entertainment, but books on finance, psychology, leadership, philosophy. I listened to tapes in the car, turned my commute into a classroom. Slowly, my thinking began to change. I started talking differently, making decisions differently, seeing opportunities I never noticed before. Because wealth is a reflection of mindset. You can't think like the masses and live like the masters. I also learned that who you spend time with affects what you learn. If you spend your days with people who gossip, complain, and criticize, you'll inherit their habits. But if you surround yourself with thinkers, with people who talk about ideas, growth, and opportunities, your world expands. Conversations shape beliefs, and beliefs shape results. Now, this doesn't mean you need to read 100 books a year or have a PhD in finance. What it means is that you must become intentional about your growth. Dedicate time daily to feeding your mind. Even half an hour is enough to shift your direction. Study one topic each week that moves you closer to mastery. Take notes, apply what you learn, and teach it to someone else. That's how knowledge becomes wisdom. Because here's the truth. Wealth is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is shaped by what you learn. Feed your mind with wisdom, and soon your life will start to reflect the richness of your thoughts. One of the most powerful lessons I ever learned was this: don't start the day until it's finished on paper. Most people drift through life, reacting to whatever comes their way. They hope things will get better, but they never design a plan to make it so. The wealthy understand something different, that success is not an accident, it's an architecture. You don't stumble into wealth, you build it, one decision, one plan, one clear intention at a time. Hope is not a strategy, a plan is. I remember when I was younger, I worked hard, really hard, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I was always busy, but rarely productive. My mentor asked me one question that stopped me in my tracks. He said, "You've got activity, but do you have direction?" That question hit me like a hammer. I realized I had been working without design, moving without purpose. From that day forward, I started planning. I set goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, even daily ones. I began to see that clarity brings power. The moment I wrote something down, it stopped being a wish and started becoming a target. Each Sunday, I'd sit down with a notebook and review my week. What did I achieve? What did I learn? What needed adjusting? Those quiet moments of reflection gave me control. I wasn't at the mercy of circumstances anymore. I was steering the ship. Planning doesn't guarantee success, but it gives success a place to land. The wealthy plan differently from everyone else. They don't just think about what they want, they calculate how to get there. They break big goals into small steps, then commit to consistency. They know that every fortune began as a blueprint on paper. They ask themselves daily, what can I do today that moves me closer to my vision? It might be a phone call, an investment, a conversation, or simply reading something valuable, but it's always intentional. Without a plan, time slips away quietly. A year passes and nothing changes. But with a plan, even small progress becomes meaningful because it's part of a bigger design. The truth is, the moment you take control of your schedule, you take control of your life. The calendar becomes your ally, not your enemy. So here's my advice. Before you start your day, finish it on paper. Before you start your week, finish it on paper. And before you start your life, finish it on paper. Because once you've written it, reviewed it, and acted on it, you're no longer drifting, you're designing. And that's the difference between the ones who wish for wealth and the ones who build it. The first rule of wealth is beautifully simple. Don't spend more than you earn. It sounds almost too obvious, yet it's the rule most people break first. They earn, they spend, and if anything's left, they save. But often, there's nothing left at all. The wealthy reverse that order. They pay themselves first. Before they pay the landlord, the credit card company, or the tax man, they make sure a portion of their income goes straight to their future. That habit, simple, disciplined, automatic, is the foundation of every fortune. I learned this truth from a man who changed the direction of my life. He told me the secret isn't how much you make, but how much you keep. At the time, I was earning just enough to get by, and I thought saving was impossible. How can I save, I said, when I barely have enough? He smiled and said, you don't save when you have more. You have more because you save. That lesson stayed with me forever. It's not about the amount, it's about the habit. Even if you save just 10 cents of every dollar, you're building discipline, and discipline is the seed of wealth. I started by saving 10%, and when I got comfortable, I raised it to 15%, then 20%. Eventually, I didn't even think about it because I automated the process. Every time I got paid, money was transferred automatically into savings and investments before I even saw it. I didn't have to rely on willpower. I had built a system that worked without emotion. The danger comes when people increase their lifestyle instead of their savings. Each raise, each bonus becomes an excuse to upgrade, a better car, a bigger house, more indulgence. But if your spending grows as fast as your income, you're not wealthier, just busier. True progress means that every time your income increases, your savings increase first. That's how the rich stay ahead. They let compounding work quietly, while everyone else chases comfort. Saving is not about deprivation. It's about direction. Every dollar you save is a soldier you send to work for your freedom. Those soldiers multiply over time through interest, investment, and patience. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. So make this a habit. Save first, live second. Pay yourself before you pay the world. Let the world wait if it must, but never let your future go unpaid. Because wealth doesn't come from earning more, it comes from managing better. And once you master that, fortune will always find its way back to you. One of the greatest realizations you can ever come to is this: money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. The average person spends their whole life working for money, trading hours for dollars, chasing paychecks that seem to vanish faster than they arrive. The wealthy, however, learn a different way. They make money work for them. They treat every dollar like an employee, one that never sleeps, never complains, and never takes a vacation. Their goal is simple: to put those dollars to work so that over time their money earns more than they do. When I was younger, I worked hard, really hard, but my money was lazy. I earned it, spent it, and that was that. Then one day my mentor asked me, "What is your money doing right now?" I said, "It's sitting in my wallet." He smiled and said, "Then, it's unemployed." That one sentence changed everything. From that day forward, I decided that every dollar I earned would have a job. Some would go to savings for safety, but others would go to investments, places where they could multiply. Now, here's the key. Start early. Even if it's small. Don't wait for the perfect time or the extra money. Those moments rarely come. The power of investing isn't just in the amount, it's in the time. $10 invested today can do more than $100 invested 10 years from now. Because when your money works continuously through interest, dividends, or business growth, it creates leverage that your labor alone never could. But investing requires patience and discipline. Too many people pull their money out too soon, spending the fruit before the tree has matured. The wealthy understand compounding, the quiet, powerful force that multiplies over time. They reinvest profits instead of spending them. They let gains grow and let time do what time does best, compound effort into abundance. Of course, investing also means learning. Don't invest blindly. Study different vehicles, real estate, stocks, businesses, even new technologies. Learn one new investment avenue each quarter. The more you understand how money moves, the more confident you become in letting it move for you. You don't have to know everything, but you must know enough to make informed, patient choices. So, remember, money was never meant to rule your life. It was meant to serve it. Every dollar you direct with purpose becomes a seed for future freedom. Make your money work harder than you do, and eventually, you'll find that your wealth grows while you rest. That's the real reward of discipline, patience, and wisdom. Financial independence earned not by speed, but by strategy. One of the greatest misunderstandings about success is that people think it comes in big moments, the big deal, the breakthrough, the lucky break. But the truth is far less glamorous and far more powerful. Success is doing simple things, consistently, over time. Wealth isn't built in explosions of effort. It's built in quiet, steady repetition. Small disciplines, practiced daily, produce big dividends over time. When I started studying the habits of successful people, I noticed something striking. They weren't necessarily smarter or luckier, they were steadier. While others rushed, quit, or waited for motivation, they just kept going. They followed a routine, repeated key actions, and stayed committed even when the excitement wore off. They knew that consistency beats intensity every time. Early in my own journey, I struggled with this. I'd get excited about a new goal, dive in with passion, and then a few weeks later, my enthusiasm would fade. I'd stop when I didn't see immediate results. Then one day, I realized that the people I admired weren't doing extraordinary things. They were doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. They saved a little every month, read a little every day, invested a little every paycheck, and reviewed their progress regularly. Nothing magical, just small efforts compounded over time. So I decided to track my own consistency. I started measuring daily actions, how many pages I read, how much I saved, how many people I reached out to. Instead of focusing on results, I focused on rhythm. I set reminders to repeat key habits, to plan, to review, to study, to save. Then I started measuring my effort weekly and my results quarterly. And here's what happened. My results started to change because my behavior finally became predictable. You see, consistency is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You'll have off days, missed goals, even failures, but if you keep showing up, keep doing the small things that matter, time will reward you. Wealth grows the same way a tree grows, slowly, invisibly, then all at once. The daily watering, the small care, the quiet patience, that's what produces strength. Most people quit because they don't see immediate change. But the ones who understand this law keep going. They trust the process. They know that every disciplined day adds up. Because success doesn't come from doing it once, it comes from doing it until. So stay steady. Keep your promises to yourself. Measure your effort, not your emotions. Let consistency be your companion, and time will take care of the rest. Because small disciplines practiced faithfully will eventually lead you to big rewards, and that's the real secret of the rich. One of the greatest tests of character in life and in wealth building is learning to delay gratification. In a world that celebrates instant results, immediate pleasure, and overnight success, the ability to wait, to choose long-term gain over short-term satisfaction has become rare. But make no mistake, it's the rare disciplines that create the uncommon life. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. And if you can master your impulses, you'll never have to live with the heavy weight of regret. I remember a time early in my career when I made good money for the first time. And like most people, I felt the urge to spend it. I wanted to reward myself, buy something shiny to show progress. But then my mentor stopped me. He said, if you spend your reward before you've earned your foundation, you'll trade your future for a feeling. That moment changed me. I learned that success isn't about how fast you get what you want. It's about how long you're willing to wait to deserve it. The wealthy live by this principle. They understand that every dollar spent impulsively is a seed that never gets planted. Instead of chasing instant pleasure, they invest their energy and money into things that pay long-term dividends: education, skills, assets, relationships. They trade the thrill of the moment for the satisfaction of progress. And that trade, repeated over time, turns ordinary incomes into extraordinary outcomes. I developed a rule that I still practice today, the 72-hour rule. Whenever I feel the urge to buy something non-essential, I wait 3 days, just 72 hours. And you know what happens? Most of the time the feeling fades, because impulsive desires are emotional, not logical. But when they fade, that money remains, money that can now work for me instead of vanishing into something fleeting. Another shift I made was in how I reward myself. Instead of celebrating indulgence, I started celebrating consistency. I didn't buy something because I felt like it. I bought something because I had stayed disciplined long enough to earn it. That simple change in mindset transformed my spending into strategy. Every time you're about to make a decision, ask yourself a simple question: will this matter in 5 years? Most of what we chase today won't even be remembered tomorrow. But the investments you make in your growth, your wealth, and your future, those will compound. So trade impulse for impact. Delay gratification not as punishment, but as a path to power. Because discipline is freedom, it gives you control over your future instead of surrendering it to the moment. Master your impulses, and you'll master your wealth. One of the most overlooked secrets to wealth and success is the company you keep. You see, your circle shapes your ceiling. It's been said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I've found this to be profoundly true. The people around you influence your thinking, your habits, your energy, and ultimately, the results you achieve. If you want to rise, you must evaluate your relationships. Some will lift you, and some will quietly hold you back. Early in my career, I spent time with people who were comfortable, content, and mostly reactive to life. I thought I was learning from them, but all I was learning was comfort and excuses. Then, I began to notice those who were ahead, not by luck, but by design. Their mindset was bigger, their habits steadier, their focus sharper. I realized that if I wanted to change my life, I had to change who I spent time with. I started seeking mentors, attending seminars, and surrounding myself with people who thought bigger, acted smarter, and held themselves accountable. Association is not just about learning, it's about absorption. You absorb the energy, the discipline, and even the language of those around you. If you spend hours with people who complain, procrastinate, or chase instant gratification, those patterns quietly creep into your life. But if you surround yourself with people who plan, act, and invest in growth, you begin to mirror their behaviors without even trying. Your circle becomes your incubator for success. Practical steps are straightforward. First, audit your circle. Who inspires you? Who challenges you? And who drains you? Be honest. Next, deliberately spend more time with mentors or peers who stretch your thinking, who challenge your assumptions, and who encourage you to act on your potential. Attend conferences, workshops, or local events where growth is the conversation, not gossip or comparison. Every environment has a vibe, and by choosing environments wisely, you allow yourself to thrive. Remember, wealth is not built in isolation. Your ideas, opportunities, and mindset are influenced by the people you trust and spend your time with. Seek those who make you better, not just comfortable. Because your income, your growth, and even your vision will rarely exceed the level of the people who surround you. So, choose your circle deliberately. Let your environment elevate you. The company you keep isn't just social. It's financial, mental, and emotional capital. Elevate your associations, and you elevate your life. One of the most powerful habits that separates those who stumble from those who soar is the habit of reflection. Most people rush through their days, reacting to emails, obligations, and distractions, never pausing to learn from the experiences unfolding around them. But true wealth and growth come not just from action, they come from understanding what your actions produce. Don't just go through the day, get from the day. Reflection is the bridge that turns experience into wisdom. I've learned that if you skip reflection, you repeat mistakes without realizing it. Early in my journey, I would work tirelessly, chase opportunities, and push forward. Yet after months of effort, my results often stagnated. I realized that effort alone wasn't enough. I needed to pause, review, and ask, what worked, what didn't? What patterns are emerging? That simple practice transformed how I approached life and business. I started journaling weekly, noting lessons from both success and failure. I discovered insights I'd otherwise ignored, behaviors that wasted time, decisions that multiplied results, and choices that shaped my future. Reflection also keeps emotion in check. When a deal fails or a plan goes sideways, it's easy to become discouraged or reactive. Reflection allows you to evaluate objectively, to separate the fact from the feeling. You can see what truly needs adjustment without abandoning the bigger goal. The habit teaches patience, perspective, and prudence. It prevents small failures from becoming catastrophic, and small successes from breeding arrogance. Practical application is simple but transformative. Take time each week to journal the key lessons from your work, investments, and decisions. Evaluate successes and failures without judgment. Ask yourself, what can I replicate? What should I change? Then adjust your strategy, not your goal. Your vision remains constant, but your methods improve continuously. This habit compounds over time, just like investing money. The insights grow, multiply, and eventually create exponential advantage. Reflection also fosters gratitude and clarity. When you take stock, you notice what's working, what progress you've made, and what resources you already have. It reinforces focus, helps avoid wasted effort, and strengthens your decision-making muscles. Wealth is built not just with money, but with insight, awareness, and intention, all of which reflection cultivates. So, make reflection a discipline, not an afterthought. Turn every experience into a lesson, every challenge into insight, and every success into a model. Review to renew, and your life, your growth, and your wealth will rise steadily, silently, and powerfully. One of the most misunderstood principles of wealth is this: giving doesn't diminish your resources, it multiplies them. True prosperity is not measured by what you hoard, but by the value you contribute to others. The secret to living is giving. Wealth is never complete without generosity, and those who embrace contribution often find abundance flowing back in ways they could never have predicted. Early in my life, I believed that saving every penny and protecting every dollar was the key to success. I worked hard, invested, and grew my income. Yet I often felt a subtle emptiness, a sense that something was missing. Then a mentor challenged me, if all you do is take, what kind of life are you building? True wealth is measured by impact. That advice changed everything. I began contributing, not just financially, but with time, energy, and wisdom. I mentored younger people, helped friends with opportunities, and gave to causes I believed in. And almost immediately I noticed a shift. Doors opened, ideas multiplied, and relationships deepened. Contribution expands your capacity to receive because it aligns you with the natural flow of abundance. Giving builds trust, respect, and influence, intangible assets that compound like money. When you tithe or give 5-10% of your income to causes you believe in, you're not losing. You're investing in a cycle that returns more than you can count. But contribution is not limited to money. Mentoring someone, sharing your experience, or teaching a principle is equally powerful. The act of giving creates value that circles back to you in unexpected ways, new opportunities, stronger networks, and a mindset tuned to abundance rather than scarcity. Daily gratitude is another powerful extension of this habit. When you practice appreciation for what you already have, it reinforces your generosity. You give from a place of abundance, not obligation, and that energy attracts more to you. The wealthy understand that money, time, and knowledge are resources to be circulated, not hoarded. So, commit to contribution as a daily habit. Give consistently, mentor willingly, and appreciate relentlessly. You'll find that as you pour into others, your capacity to receive grows, your influence expands, and your life becomes richer in every dimension. Contribution is not charity, it is the engine of true wealth. One of the most overlooked habits of the truly wealthy isn't found in banks or stocks, it's in the body. Energy is the hidden currency that multiplies every dollar, every opportunity, and every effort. Take care of your body, it's the only place you have to live. Without health, wealth becomes fragile, focus fades, and performance dwindles. The truth is simple. A strong mind needs a strong body, and a strong body fuels a strong income. Early in my career, I thought I could work endlessly, sacrificing sleep, skipping meals, and pushing past exhaustion. I measured success by hours worked, not energy sustained. But over time, I realized that long hours with poor health were costing me far more than money. Clarity, creativity, and stamina were slipping through my fingers. My productivity plateaued, decisions slowed, and opportunities were missed, not because I lacked skill, but because my energy was depleted. That was the day I committed to making health a priority alongside wealth. The wealthy understand that energy compounds just like money. Regular exercise strengthens not just muscles, but discipline. Eating for energy rather than emotion fuels focus and prevents crashes that sabotage performance. Sleep is not laziness, it is strategy. A renewal of the body and mind that allows for smarter decisions, faster learning, and sustained output. Protect your focus like your fortune. Every hour of proper rest, every meal chosen wisely, and every movement of your body is an investment that pays dividends in productivity and long-term results. It's also about mental resilience. Physical health supports emotional stability, reduces stress, and sharpens judgment. When you have energy, you think clearly, respond instead of react, and act with intention. Wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. Your body is the engine that drives your wealth. Neglect it, and the journey becomes painful and short-lived. Nourish it, and every dollar you earn, every decision you make, and every opportunity you seize is amplified. So, exercise, eat, and sleep with purpose. Treat your body as the foundational asset it is. Energy fuels earning power, and without it, even the best financial strategies fall flat. Protect your health, invest in your vitality, and you'll find that your wealth grows alongside your capacity to enjoy, sustain, and expand it. The strongest fortunes are built not only with money, but with energy, clarity, and a body that works as hard as your mind. One of the most powerful habits of wealth is understanding the difference between working for money and having money work for you. You see, you don't get rich working all day. You get rich by owning what works while you rest. Early in life, I thought the path to success was simple. Work harder, longer, and smarter. I chased every opportunity to earn, every extra hour I could muster, and every deal I could close. But I quickly discovered a ceiling. No matter how much effort I poured in, my income was tied to my hours, my energy, and my presence. True wealth, I realized, comes not from trading time for money, but from creating or acquiring assets that produce revenue whether you are present or absent. This is the principle of ownership. It's the ability to leverage systems, intellectual property, or investments so that they work independently of you. I began small, reinvesting profits from jobs and side ventures into things that could generate income without constant attention. I started with a small side business, something I could scale, something I could automate. I learned that the real power isn't in what you do, but in what continues to do for you after you stop doing it. Reinvesting earned income into ownership, assets, compounds, not just money, but freedom. Every dollar invested wisely becomes a soldier that works while you sleep. Ownership also shifts your mindset. Each week I ask myself a simple question. Am I trading time for money, or am I building something that lasts? This question has saved me countless hours of chasing short-term gratification and has focused my energy on long-term leverage. Owning a piece of a business, intellectual property, or real estate transforms you from a worker into a creator, someone whose wealth multiplies rather than plateaus. It's important to understand that ownership requires patience, diligence, and learning. You won't become wealthy overnight by buying the first asset you see. Study it, understand it, nurture it. The power of ownership grows silently and steadily, much like a tree. At first the fruits are small, but over time they multiply, providing shade, shelter, and sustenance for decades. So, stop thinking that more hours equals more wealth. Shift your focus from labor to leverage, from income to equity. Build or invest in something that generates while you rest. Trade your time wisely, and you'll discover that the true secret of wealth is not in how hard you work, but in what your work creates to work for you long after you've stepped away. Ownership is the engine of freedom, and freedom is the ultimate currency. One of the greatest lessons in wealth is the quiet power of patience. Too often people measure success by speed, by instant results, by immediate gratification. But real wealth is like a tree. It doesn't shoot up overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, and steadily. And only those who wait see the full bounty. Don't wish it were faster. Wish you were steadier. Impatience is the thief of compounding, and without patience, even the best strategies crumble. I learned early that the market rewards those who understand time, not timing, and discipline, not drama. I remember a young man who approached me full of excitement, convinced he could double his money in a few months. He chased every opportunity, bought every hot tip, and sold at the slightest downturn. Within a year, most of his capital was gone. Contrast that with a friend who invested slowly, reinvesting every profit, studying every step, and waiting for the right opportunities. Over a decade, the difference wasn't just money. It was freedom, security, and peace of mind. Compounding works silently, invisibly, but only for those who give it time to grow. Patience isn't passive. It's an active habit. You track your growth yearly, not daily. You invest consistently, reinvesting profits to harness the magic of compounding. You avoid the allure of get-rich-quick schemes because they promise speed at the cost of stability. Time is your partner in wealth creation, not your enemy, not a variable to manipulate. Every dollar invested wisely today grows into 1,000 tomorrow, but only if you allow it to. I've found that patience also trains character. It teaches you discipline, focus, and emotional steadiness. When your investments, projects, or business ventures take time to bear fruit, your persistence, consistency, and learning compound alongside your capital. Wealth isn't just monetary. It's the combination of your financial growth and your personal growth over time. Those who rush often fail, but those who endure, steady and deliberate, build something lasting. So, measure your growth in years, not days. Reinvest profits, resist shortcuts, and trust the process. Time multiplies, discipline into dividends, patience into prosperity, and consistent effort into freedom. Wealth waits for the steady, not the hurried. Let compounding work for you, quietly, powerfully, and inevitably. One of the most overlooked habits of wealth is the discipline of protection. Too many people chase high returns without considering what might be lost along the way. You can't build a mansion on sand, security first, expansion next. Before you pursue great opportunity, you must ensure your foundation is solid. I've seen countless ambitious people make brilliant plans, invest in seemingly perfect ventures, and yet lose everything because they ignored defense. True prosperity is not reckless. It's calculated. The wealthy understand that defense is just as important as offense. Protect before you prosper. Early in my career, I jumped at a business opportunity that promised fast growth. I poured in savings, energy, and focus without safeguarding the basics. When unexpected expenses hit, I realized that my foundation, emergency funds, insurance, and reserves wasn't in place. I was forced to pause, rebuild, and learn the value of security. From that moment, I committed to always protecting the base before chasing returns. It's a principle that has saved me time, money, and heartache countless times since. The habit begins with building an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses is not indulgence. It is freedom, a buffer that allows you to make wise decisions under pressure. Ensuring your health, income, and property isn't about fear. It's about foresight. When you protect yourself from risks you can anticipate, you can pursue opportunities boldly without jeopardizing your life's stability. Equally important is understanding your investments. Never put money into what you don't comprehend. Wealth built on ignorance is fragile. Study, research, and only enter ventures you understand. Defense doesn't mean avoiding risk entirely. It means managing risk intelligently so that your pursuit of growth doesn't destroy your foundation. Security creates confidence. When you know you have a safety net, you can think long-term, act decisively, and invest boldly. Your time, energy, and capital become tools of creation rather than sources of stress. Wealth is not just accumulation, it's preservation and multiplication. So, guard your base before chasing the summit. Build reserves, insure wisely, and understand your moves. Expansion without protection is ambition without wisdom. Protect first, prosper second, and you'll build a life and a fortune that endures. One of the most underestimated habits of building wealth is simplicity. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Too often people think that sophistication equals success. Multiple accounts, countless apps, tangled budgets, and overcomplicated strategies. But what is complex is ignored, and what is ignored eventually fails. Clarity creates control. I learned early in my career that having too many moving parts in my finances led to confusion, missed opportunities, and unnecessary stress. The wealthy, on the other hand, understand that simplicity is power. The clearer your system, the easier it is to manage, track, and grow your resources. I remember a time when I had investments scattered across accounts I barely monitored, budgets I never updated, and debts I forgot about. Despite earning steadily, I felt scattered and powerless. When I simplified, consolidating accounts, automating bills and investments, and keeping one clear system, everything changed. Suddenly, I could see the flow of money. I could track savings, spot leaks, and make deliberate decisions rather than react to confusion. Simplicity allowed me to focus on what mattered most: growth, leverage, and the pursuit of meaningful opportunities. Simplicity also reduces emotional mistakes. The more tangled your finances, the more likely you are to make impulsive or fearful decisions. Automating savings, investments, and bills removes the need for constant monitoring, allowing you to act with calm and purpose. Decluttering quarterly, reviewing accounts, closing unnecessary ones, and eliminating redundant subscriptions keeps your system lean and effective. The fewer obstacles in your financial process, the more energy you can devote to creation rather than maintenance. Ultimately, wealth is not built by doing more complicated things, but by doing a few simple things consistently and effectively. Clear systems lead to disciplined habits, and disciplined habits lead to compounding results over time. The wealthy understand that clarity is leverage. When you know where your money is, how it moves, and where it's going, you gain control, confidence, and freedom. So, simplify, reduce complexity, automate what can be automated, and regularly review your system. What is clear can be managed. What is managed grows steadily. Simplicity isn't just convenience, it's a strategy for wealth, a habit that transforms scattered effort into focused results and confusion into power. One of the most transformative habits of wealth is long-term thinking. Too many people chase immediate rewards, the flashy car, the newest gadget, or the quick investment that promises instant returns. But true wealth is not measured by what you consume today. It is measured by what you build for tomorrow. Don't just make a living, Design a life that outlives you. This is not just about money. It's about values, systems, and habits that create a legacy that continues long after you're gone. I've found that those who think only in the short term may feel wealthy for a moment, but their gains rarely endure. Early in my career, I focused on short-term success, earning commissions, closing deals, and meeting monthly goals. It brought excitement and recognition, but little security. Then I realized that the richest people I knew weren't just financially abundant, they had foresight. They built businesses that lasted, invested in assets that compounded over decades, and taught their children and communities the principles that sustained growth. Their wealth wasn't just dollars, it was freedom, influence, and wisdom passed down through generations. That perspective changed how I approached my life and finances. Long-term thinking requires patience, discipline, and vision. Start with a 10 to 20-year wealth plan. Not just numbers on a spreadsheet, but a roadmap for the life you want to create, the impact you want to leave, and the principles you wish to instill. Reinvest a portion of your profits into education, mentorship, and ventures that multiply your influence. Teach financial principles to your family or mentees. Knowledge is one of the few things that compounds perfectly across generations. Wealth without understanding is fragile. Wisdom makes it enduring. The habit of long-term thinking also changes daily decisions. Each choice, spending, investing, or saving, is weighed not by instant satisfaction, but by its contribution to the vision you're building. Luxury becomes optional, not a priority, and patience becomes a tool rather than a burden. You learn to appreciate small, steady wins because they accumulate into something monumental over time. So, think beyond today, build systems, cultivate habits, and invest in knowledge that outlives your own lifetime. Wealth without a long-term plan is fleeting, but wealth paired with vision creates freedom, security, and a legacy that echoes across generations. True riches are measured not by what you collect, but by what you leave behind. As we draw this conversation to a close, remember this: wealth is not an accident, a lucky break, or a sprint. It is the result of habits, discipline, patience, and vision.